So we're now on the shuttle going back to Walthamstow, but I wanted to capture what I felt about today and what I think today has taught me, because one of the central things that we saw today was a 28-year-old woman who is 8 months pregnant, but none of us could dissuade her tonight from trying to jump on a lorry. We met a 9-year-old kid who was cycling round and round the refugee camp on his bike, but he has no safe home to go to, and tonight him and his brother will be doing exactly the same thing. We met many volunteers who are doing an amazing job trying to help people in a camp that was originally set up for 500 and now probably will be dealing with 10,000 people if the census comes out tomorrow and tells us that. So the question for me is, how did we get here? And the honest truth is politics. Because politics isn't just about waving a placard or even having a vote in Parliament. It's about how you make change happen. And all the things we saw today are about a system that is broken. So people are dealing with the symptoms rather than the problem itself. That's how you end up with the French police tear gassing children because there's a traffic jam and they're worried those kids are going to use that opportunity to jump in the back of people's cars and try and get over to Britain. Nobody we met today who's working with those young people, with all the refugees in that camp, thinks that everybody there should be in the UK. They recognise they've got options around the world, they've got family in other parts of Europe. But what they're all crying out for is a government that doesn't just say they're going to do something, but actually then puts in place the system to make it happen. And in this case, it's about processing those people and treating them with the dignity and respect that they deserve. We had a vote in Parliament for the Alf Dubs Amendment in March. We made a commitment that we would take young refugees, child refugees. Today there are child refugees in that camp, eligible under the quite strict criteria of the Alf Dubs Amendment, still waiting for somebody to do something. There is nobody from the British government in that camp at this moment coordinating all the work that's going on. Nobody says that the UK authorities have to run everything. But they do need to play their part in what is happening on that camp, because we made a commitment as a country to do that. And that's what the volunteers need. They need a point person. And that's why it matters that the government has cancelled the role of Minister for Refugees, because it means there's nobody following up on the commitment that we made as a country to the UN obligations around people being persecuted and to those young children and their families. Now, I'm a British politician. I have a role to play. I get that. I will do my best with my colleagues in Parliament to keep raising these issues and pushing the government to give us the detail about how these schemes will happen. I will keep working with volunteers in Walthamstow like Debbie and Barry to organise donations, because those camps desperately need basics. They need clothes for the men, they need money to be able to feed them. They're desperately short of attention, of volunteers, of people to help make things happen on the ground. But ultimately we do need to deal with the problem at the source of this. And that is about politics, because politics is how we decide to make things happen. We live in a great country. Britain is Great Britain. It's done great things around the world. It's always been proud of its role within the world. And we could do that again. So I'm making a plea to you to ask more of your politics, ask more of your politicians. Because yes, the problem is complicated. The longer we leave it, the more complex it gets. It was a sunny day today, but we know that winter is around the corner. All those camps, all those tents are going to be challenged by bad weather. And we know that there's talk of evicting people, but there's no process for dealing with those people. So that just becomes another symptom that people are going to struggle with unless politics gets its act together. Ask more of us, because actually we could resolve this problem if there was the political will to do it. We could challenge the French police about using tear gas. And yes, we can take refugees in our communities. And you could be a foster parent, you could raise money, you could donate. Each of us could do our bit. Let's not say that this is something that we can't solve. Let's not stop talking about Calais and shrug our shoulders and try and find somebody to blame. Let's actually be political and make change happen.